In this video, we'll be looking at some instances where cops got completely owned. So let's get right into the clips. So this man was stopped by a cop, and when he asked him about the reason for the stop, the cop didn't want to tell him that before he got his ID. The man was willing to give his ID to the cop, no questions asked, but the cop was actually the one who started asking him a whole bunch of questions that are pretty much irrelevant for this traffic stop.
Gilmore Oil Company?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you been there?
My ass, why that is.
Well, I'm just talking to you. I see your shirt there. I'm just asking. Is it wrong to ask you questions about where you work?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what that has to do with the stop.
Okay. All right. Well, if you don't want, just casual conversation, that's fine.
Since
I got you stopped there. You're driving 65, and you speed limit 70. I'm just wondering what's wrong. Are you okay?
He was interested to know what company he worked for and how long he had been working there. The man, albeit confused, gave the cop his ID and told him that he was trying to figure out why the cop was asking him those questions. Then the cop finally told him the reason for the stop, and that was, get this, driving 65 in a 70 zone.
Since I got you stopped there. You're driving 65, and speed limit 70. I'm just wondering what's wrong. Are you okay?
Other than...
you okay? You ain't
traveling 5 miles below the speed limit is
Yes,
a
sir.
reason.
I'm just checking on you. That's all I'm doing, okay?
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm great.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve,
He asked the man if he was okay. The cop definitely tried to sell this man a story that he was just checking up on him, but you can just tell that the man didn't buy any of it. But the cop wasn't done with the questions. He asked the man where he was coming from, and sure enough, the man was still confused about it, wondering if he had to tell the cop where he was coming from and where he was going and all that jazz. The cop then went away and the man was left baffled. After the cop came back, he gave the man a warning, but he didn't want to disclose what the warning was for, despite the man asking him about it a couple of times.
Yes, sir.
Videos there. This here's a warning, okay? No court date, no fine, nothing like that. You can throw this paper away when you get to the house. Ain't nothing to really worry about, all right?
Okay, what was the warning for?
All right. Have a good day, all right?
What was the warning for, sir? He didn't even say what a warning been for, bro.
It seems like the cop wanted to get that over with as quickly as he could because he knew that he couldn't answer why he really stopped this man. The man wasn't lazy, so he got out of his car and asked the cop one more time what the warning was for. This time the cop finally answered, saying that it was for traveling under the speed limit. That left the man confused. Me too, man. But the cop didn't want to deal with him anymore and wished him a good day after telling him that he's got stuff to do. Here we have a man who was filming his surroundings, which just happened to include the FedEx building, and sure enough, a security guard approached him and asked him what he was doing. When the man didn't want to answer, the security guard called someone on the phone, and most likely that be at the police.
I suggest get a supervisor out here.
If you're on the sidewalk,
I'm asking for a supervisor.
Okay, call him. Call the
No, you call him. I asked for one. I asked for a supervisor.
Okay.
You're not going to give me a supervisor.
I'm not gonna get you a supervisor.
Okay.
There's no sense in me getting you a supervisor.
Okay. You need to get one so you don't do something stupid. Hi, guys.
After a while, a police officer approached the man and said that he just got called about his suspicious activity. The man was quite surprised and went on to explain that he was standing on a public easement. After the cop didn't want to leave him alone, the man requested a supervisor. Instead of calling a supervisor, the cop actually told the man to call a supervisor himself.
There's no sense in me getting you a supervisor.
Okay. You need to get one so you don't do something stupid.
You obviously understand the law, I guess.
Evidently better than you do about the easement, dude.
Why you gotta swear, man?
Because that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm a grown man. I can swear all day. I'm going to tell us this is their property, and you don't even know if it is or not. You hadn't even looked, had you?
Then things got heated as they started yelling and talking over each other. The man urged the cop to check the property lines, which the cop obviously didn't want to do. In the end, the cop had no other choice but to leave the man alone. Yeah, that's right. Here, things got heated right from the get-go as a woman asked these cops what their probable cause was to roll up on someone's property. The cops didn't know how to answer that, to the surprise of absolutely no one, so the woman looked into their car and saw a laptop in there. Then she went on to ask the cops what was their reasonable, articulable suspicion that her son was committing a crime, about to commit a crime, or did commit a crime.
What was your probable cause to roll up to somebody on private property? Especially you.
Me?
Yeah, you. Down with your little fucking blue line fucking gang. Oh, you don't like it? You don't like it? You guys do it to everybody. Go ahead, pull it out. Pull it out. Ooh, let's play fucking flashlight war. What was he doing?
I can't tell you.
Fixing a fucking quad? See what the call really is for.
Instead of just answering her question, one of the cops thought he could be funny and told the woman that she was a difficult one. She confirmed that and told him that she was gonna do whatever it takes to protect her son. The cops really didn't have an answer to that. They certainly didn't expect they were gonna be completely owned and humiliated by this mom.
Activity. I don't see anything about theft. Sean, this is why you record every time. So I hope you have good PC. What was your RAS? Your reasonable, articulable suspicion that my son was committing a crime, about to commit a crime, or did commit a crime. What was it?
You're the difficult one.
You're damn straight. When it comes to my son, absolutely, I am difficult. So I will fight to the death for my kid. You got me right, sir.
These cops approached a man, got into his face, and asked him what was going on. The man, obviously feeling very uncomfortable, asked one of them for his name and a badge number. He also asked him to step away a little because he was standing too close to him. The cop then asked the man for his identification, and when asked why, he responded quite aggressively, saying that he was taking pictures of a federal building.
Can I get your identification, please?
Why?
Why? Because you're taking pictures of a federal terminal, which is a Homeland Security issue.
Are you Homeland Security?
Yes.
Seems like you're back at the police department.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with
Homeland Security is done by everybody. It's done by everybody. It's the Homeland Security.
Is it a crime to exercise my rights on a public sidewalk?
What? To take pictures of a federal...
The man kept reminding him that he was taking pictures from a public sidewalk, but the cop didn't register that, or at least he pretended not to, and continued to ask the man for his ID. After a bit of explaining, the man asked them what crime they suspected him of committing, to which they replied that they wanted to identify him just in case something happened. The man then asked them for a reasonable, articulable suspicion. The cop was silent for a second, as if it was his first time he heard something like that, and then he confidently said to the man that his video recording of the building was suspicious.
What crime are you?
You're taking video, which might lead to some type of terrorist act, right? We don't know. We don't know that.
I'm with my
family.
How
do you know that?
I'm with I just told you. know how you don't know that? Because I told you. I've never been here. I'm a tourist. I'm with my family. This is interesting. So I took a picture from the public sidewalk.
To take your...
Listen, I just want to cut this. I want to make this simple.
The man then explained very clearly what went down and even was polite enough to give the cops his name, but they insisted on seeing his ID.
He's a citizen on the public sidewalk exercising his First Amendment right,
which is
a protected activity.
They know that. That's why nothing is happening right now except for us trying to get your name. That's all.
And I told you my name, David.
Well, can you, if you show me your identification
I just
again,
told you already.
well, you're on your way. I don't understand what the problem is. Just like you're,
because I don't show ID unless you suspect me of committing a crime. Me exercising my First Amendment.
The man obviously refused that once again and went on to educate the cops on First Amendment protected activities. After quite a bit of explaining and lecturing, they finally left this man alone. Here, a man was being approached by 3 cops who were quite surprised when he didn't want to give them his ID. One of them acted as if he had never heard that before, which is exactly what the man asked him. The cop, realizing that this man had experience with the police, shifted and revealed his name and badge number. Then he proceeded to ask the man if he had been asked to leave. The man answered that question with another question, asking if they were going to ask him what he was doing.
Have you not heard that before?
I've heard it plenty of times. It's just I'm surprised because, well, my name and my badge number is right here. Okay, you see it?
Tibbets?
Yep, 640.
The pen is blocking the number. 640?
Yep.
And Dennis 647.
So I was told that you were asked.
They kept going back and forth, and then the man proceeded to school the cops by saying that what he was doing was a First Amendment protected activity, to which the cop said that he didn't care about that. That didn't stop the man from continuing to give him a free lesson in law. He said that he had every right to record in a public library.
This is a public library. I see where this is going.
I want you to answer my question.
I see where this is going.
Were you asked to leave?
I see where this is going.
Asked you to leave, and did your employees ask you to leave, sir?
No.
Were you
I was not.
Would you like him to leave, sir? Okay.
So security. So let me explain just so you get let me just explain really quick so you guys can understand. So what I'm doing here is a First Amendment protected activity. I'm recording. I know you don't care, sir, but listen, if you violate that in any way and interfere with that,
I'm not violating it. They asked you to leave.
Yeah, but they can't ask me to leave. This is a public library. Can I speak to a supervisor?
He also asked for a supervisor multiple times, and the cops just ignored that request, knowing full well that they were going to get owned by higher authority the same way that they were completely owned by this man. He then continued to school the cops, telling them that they can't arrest him for trespassing in a public building. The cop disagreed with that, which is why the man challenged them to trespass him and see what was going to happen. The cop then asked him what was the purpose of his recording, but he wasn't willing to disclose that until it was published. They kept arguing for a bit and the video ended there. We don't have the information on what happened in the end, but after seeing how this man has an answer for everything, we can safely say that they left him alone.
Body cameras on?
What's this thing that you're doing? What are you doing it for?
So,
like a study,
I mean, just because you guys seem real hostile, I'm gonna explain myself ahead of time. Normally I don't explain myself.
Well, you haven't explained yourself yet.
I told you I'm gathering content for a story and I'm engaging in a constitutionally protected activity.
For what? What is the purpose of this?
For what reason?
I'm not willing to disclose until it's published. Until it's published, I'm not gonna disclose it. Yeah.
I mean, I could go up to somebody and say, listen, do you feel uncomfortable or uncomfortable? If they're uncomfortable, you're breaching their peace.
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
You can't, yes, I do.